Hi everybody, welcome back to Mando Lessons. Once again, got my good buddy Noah Fishman here. We're going to talk about the tune Cosimo's Flight, which is a tune that I wrote and we recorded on our album Fine Times. We've been putting some videos out, kind of talking about the tunes we did and how we arranged them, and that's what we're going to be doing here. Talking about Cosimo's Flight and mostly the arrangement, how we went through it, took it from the skeleton of a tune, I think we played it through 3 times. And, how we spiced it up to keep it interesting for ourselves and for the listeners.
I love this tune, and it's a great example of how just a little spice goes a long way, because the tune has so much character as it is. All we had to do was add a tiny little intro, a couple little harmonies in the middle and the end, and just a tag. But those little bits really kind of put a bow on it.
Yeah, so I think the main thing we did, Noah came up with this great little intro. So the tune is in the key of C major, but Noah said, "Hey, let's work out a little thing in G minor to start with."
Why not start in a place where you're not gonna end up?
So we kind of have this G minor, and Noah's got this little intro.
Yeah. And the intro, so the melody goes la 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 la, and it's kind of stolen obliquely from the melody. La 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 la, la 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 la. So we start on G minor. So you're doing a walk-up G, A, B flat, and we do it again, da da dum, da dum, and then here, this is the moment where we said, wait a second, this tune's in C. So the way we do that is we put a G major in there.
By getting a B natural rather than the B flat.
Yep. So that whole intro.
Into the tune. And something that we didn't do on the album but have done in live performances is we can drag out that G minor part as long as we want, so we can really settle into that G minor zone, get it feeling nice and dark.
Yeah.
And then that B major, the G major, B natural in the bass really is our signal to move into the actual tune when the time comes. And it's our little kind of waypoint flag to say, all right, here we go. Time to jump into the real thing.
Yeah, we can be improvising as much as we want in the G minor. It's all G minor. All you need.
And then we play through the tune pretty straight ahead, melodically. I'm taking the melody to begin with. And Noah's got these great little muted, what do you call it? Chord?
Yeah, it's
chordlet?
Yeah, it's not like, oh, the first chord's C, so I'm gonna play C, and the second chord's D minor, and the third chord's G minor, or G major. I'm just playing basically the 1 and the 3, the first note and the third note of the chord or scale. So
makes for a very sparse intro.
Usually when you think of a waltz, you think of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. The heaviness is kind of on the 3, 1, 2. But because I'm playing on the 1 and 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, it makes space for that melody to come through. Da da dum, da da, da da, da da dum. It makes a little hole there. So
It adds a little bit of lift to the tune, rather than just really getting bogged down in that classic.
Yeah. We get there eventually, but
Yeah.
we take our time doing it.
Yeah. So something that's a little interesting about our arrangement of this is rather than playing the tune through as I wrote the tune, kind of skeleton of the melody while Noah backs me up and then taking solos, I start improvising a couple bars into the tune, moving kind of some melodic variations. It's very, very skeleton. And I'm not moving very far away from the melody, but I pretty quickly start mostly adding rhythmic variation rather than melodic variation, so that the melody itself isn't changing all that much. Maybe a note here or there, but I'm adding a lot of syncopation and small little rhythmic ideas into what I'm playing as the first time through the tune,
Yeah.
the melody. And then as we get into the B part, it's a very repetitive B part. And then this kind of comes out of nowhere and then resolves. And kind of a 5-1 ending. And what really struck me, and I talk about this a lot on the website, is if you have a really simple melody, it really opens you up to have more complex harmonic ideas and chordal ideas going on. So I kind of wrote this tune as a solo mandolin piece where the way that I've taught it on the website, because there is a tune lesson for Cosimo's Flight, it has this sort of descending bass line that you can play as a single instrument. And it goes to F, F minor, sus, and then that E major. Then I'll play an A minor sometimes. So when that melody popped into my head when I was writing it, you could just play da 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 da. It's all C and then all F. Ya da 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 da. So really, by adding that little descending line, we're creating, I guess, what would you call it? Like a C major 7,
Yeah.
C dominant 7.
Exactly. F major.
F major.
F minor.
F minor. And then I call it an F sus. 2. And then to an E major. So that the descending line, the note that's really changing in that very static melody is C and B and B flat and B flat and A and A flat and G. And then we go back to G sharp for when we get to that E major chord.
So Baron, in his solo arrangement of the tune, has that descending line basically as the middle voice of the chord melody. Could you show that again?
Yep.
Yeah. So after the melody, it's the next lowest voice. Da 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 da. So instead, I took that and brought it all the way to its lowest octave on the mandolin. La 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 la. So it's it energizes the section because the whole time you have this chromatic line going down. And so I just throw my basic C voicing on top of that. voicing. E. Do you do A minor there?
I usually do an A minor, but you could also think of it as like a C6. So it's a little ambiguous.
I usually go just F and C.
Huh.
Just.
Oh yeah, I do that sometimes too. That's
Yeah.
the thing, is when you have a melody and you've kind of established through that chromatic line that other chords are possible. It's not just a 1-4-5 waltz. Then, you know, when the melody is really simple, it really opens up your options. You know, that C could be a C, it could be an A minor, it could be an F. There's
be almost
all kinds
anything.
of options.
Yeah.
D7.
And
G
at this,
sus 4.
at this point, I've gone away in the arrangement. I've gone away from my my palm muting, and I'm pretty much playing full open chords.
So from there, I was playing the melody to begin with, and we figured we'd jump into a round of solos. It's a pretty long-form tune, so we decided we didn't really need to have, us each take a solo over the whole tune, so we split it in half. I was just playing the melody, so I sent it over to Noah for the first solo, and he takes the 2 A's, and then back over to me for the B's, and they're fairly kind of straight-ahead solos, melodic and rhythmic variations.
When you say long form, the form is just AABB, and it's 8 bars of an A section, 8 bars B section, repeated, but they're going by quite slowly.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of time to hear each chord. And so by the time you've heard the whole entire intro and the whole entire melody, if we each do a whole solo section,
Turns into like an 8-minute track.
yeah. And so by doing by one of us taking the A section as a solo playground and the other one taking the B section, it also separates our solos in a way, because we're both playing A style F-hole mandolins. Our sounds can get pretty similar, and so you can separate our solos based on what chords we're playing over.
Absolutely. So that's pretty kind of straight ahead soloing ideas. We didn't do anything in terms of, altering the form we're playing over or anything like that. And then we played it out. So the third time through the tune, I went back to mostly playing the melody with, again, a little bit of melodic variation and rhythmic variation. And really, the big question became, how do we end it?
How do we end it?
And once again, Noah masterminded not only the intro to this song, but also the outro.
So, classic way to end a tune is to tag your favorite part, ideally the ending. So, nice. We'll do it again. And so, basically, the only thing I came up with was adding a spicy chord in between the tune and the tag. So this chord is an A flat major chord. A flat is the flat 6 in C, so C, D, E, F, G, A flat. And the cool thing about the flat 6 is that it shares a common tone, which is the root of the chord. So if we're in C, the root is C. If we're playing an A flat chord, the third is C. So that's called a common tone when you have the same note shared by 2 chords. And the melody ends on a C. La 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 So we just keep the melody there. And the A flat resolves very nicely to C. La 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 la. So you can get there through some theory and some logical thinking, but I think I actually played it because
it just sounds good.
It sounds good, and it was under my fingers. It's close to that C voicing.
And that's something that I think as you play more and get more experience with kind of figuring out what other chord options you have. Like I was saying earlier, when you have that C note, it could be a C, it could be an A minor, it could be an F, it could be a D7. That's just one more option, is that A flat. It's a little further removed and a little something you expect a little less than more of like an A minor substitution. You're making an A flat major substitution, but just using it that once, it was kind of a limited little moment. We weren't really hammering it in a bunch of times into the arrangement, and it was just a nice way to kind of bring back around that ending, because that gets repetitive pretty quick, because it's a fairly classic kind of ending line. And if you just play it gets very repetitive really quickly, and all it takes is just that little A flat. Just to add that little spice that kind of makes it really sound like we're going to end now.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say thanks again to Noah Fishman for joining me and talking through the arrangement of Cosimo's Flight. If you're interested in learning the tune itself and haven't already, there's a lesson over at mandolessons.com where I teach the tune by ear. You can also find the play-along tracks and sheet music, tablature, you name it, it's over there, along with lots more lessons. There's always a couple ways to donate, which is always appreciated but not required. I hope to have Noah back soon, and we'll see you in the next one. 1